Today I'll be going over my Seiko SRPL15. Fans are calling this the Baby Samurai or the Mini Samurai, and I initially really disliked this new design. The previous generation Samurai was my first ever Seiko, not this one in particular, it was the Pepsi Samurai, the SRPB53, and it's really what started this crazy journey of watch collecting, so I do have a soft spot for this model. That's why when I saw this new design, I was a little triggered. I felt that the design deviated too much from its predecessor. The sharp angles of the case, the hour hand and indices were all softened to match the smaller case of 42mm, give or take. But looking harder into it and seeing its lineage, I suppose it makes sense when you start comparing the previous two generations of the Samurai. I start to see pieces of the first and second generation coming together to make this new generation. This watch has a 41.5mm case diameter, 48.2mm lug to lug, thickness of 12.6mm, screw down crown of 6.4mm, and a very pleasing lug width of 20mm. It has a hardlex crystal instead of sapphire, which many are probably upset about. But I'm sure part of Seiko's business plan is to release these in a king version someday, where it'll include a sapphire crystal and ceramic bezel insert. It has 200 meters of water resistance and comes in this comfortable silicone band minus the horrendous metal keeper. You've been warned, this metal keeper has some sharp edges and doesn't do a good job of keeping the rubber strap tucked in tightly. Luckily, it has a 20mm strap, and so there will be plenty of options to go with. The bezel insert is likely an aluminum insert, and the matte finish on this black version goes really well together. It's actually the first thing that caught my eye in the store. Inside the case is the 4R35 in-house movement that has about 41 hours of power reserve, with an accuracy window of plus 45 to minus 35 seconds a day. It's not the most precise movement, but it's reliable and easy to service. Everything about this watch is smaller than the previous Samurai, but in a good way. It has become more of an easy everyday wear for people with slender wrists. The King Samurai is loud and portrays a very bold presence with its large case diameter, sharp angles, and large hands and indices. The Mini Samurai, on the other hand, has been trimmed down and enjoys doing things other than going underwater. It's slimmer and lighter, so it slips under jacket sleeves a lot easier, and it's a lot more comfortable for long-term wear. The smaller diameter makes it more suitable in a wide variety of settings, whether you're at the beach or in an office. And it does all this while still earning the Diver's 200-meter stamp on the dial. I like that they kept some of the design features that tie it back to the previous Samurai, and those are the knurlings on the crown and the bezel edge. It makes for a really good grip when winding the watch or operating the bezel. The bezel action is standard for a Seiko, and here's how it sounds. The angles on this Mini Samurai have been toned down with softer lines, and the case has been simplified. The crown guards have a softer transition into the case, and if you look at the back, the sides of the case are seamless, whereas the King Samurai has these cutouts. Much more complex looking. I also really like this bezel insert with the dark gray markers. I think the matte finish was a good choice. It goes well with the black coated case and helps maintain that stealth look. The date window is placed at the 4:30 mark, which is something Seiko has been doing more of on their newer releases. Many people find this odd and prefer it to be at the 3 o'clock or 6 o'clock position. I'm indifferent about it because it kind of gives you that no date aesthetics, giving you a fully loomed index at the 3 or 6, but at the same time gives you the option to check the date if you need it. It's also unobtrusive because of how small the date window is, but at the same time, because it's so small, it's a little difficult to see at a quick glance. I only have a couple of dislikes about this watch. I already mentioned the metal keeper being sharp and useless in keeping the strap tucked in. I wish this came on a bracelet. I think a blacked out brushed bracelet would look really sleek with the case. The hour hand isn't my favorite. The way Seiko designed it, I think they played it too safe. I really enjoy the broad arrow on the previous Samurai, and I'm sure it would have looked just as good in this current version. Maybe I still need some time to warm up to it, but I think it's a little bland for this watch. Having said all that, I highly suggest you see these in person before coming to your own conclusion, because it is so much nicer than the pictures you see on their website, and I'm actually looking forward to the different color variations they will come out with in the future. Thanks for watching.